expires 2027. The first part is for USCIS use only, so you leave it blank and you start with your A number. You can find it on the I-797 notice of action that was sent to you when the petition was approved for your K1 visa. It is next to your beneficiary name. So you will have your beneficiary name. Right above it, you will have a 9-digit number next to the A. So it's an A and then 9-digit number. Next, you type in your name. It is recommended to type in the name that you will have after the marriage. If you're getting married and you're gonna change your name, it is recommended to fill it out with your new name. Other names you have used since birth, here you can type in your maiden name if you've changed it. Alright. Then your date of birth here. Then have you ever used any other dates of birth? No. If you have other dates of birth, you can write yes. Again, it's right here. It's on your I-797 if you have it. If you don't have it, just type it no. Have you used any other A number? If not, just type no. If yes, provide the other A numbers that you used. Then gender, place of birth, just write it. I'm writing an example. Country of birth, USCIS online account number. I I didn't have online account number until I applied for I-485. But if you do, right here. If you don't, leave it blank. And if you do, the USCIS sends you a letter, a physical letter or an email. And then number 10, recent immigration history, passport or travel document number. Use this last arrow here. This part you use your passport to fill this out. So you write the number of your passport, expiration date of the passport, country that issued passport. This is probably the country you're from. Visa number used at the most recent arrival. You find it on your visa. It is written in red numbers on the right side of your visa. And then the date visa was issued is also typed in your visa. And you can find all of this in your passport. And then place of last arrival into the United States. You write the airport place, so not where you reside right now, but the actual airport to which you came that was in the United States. So say you go to California through New York, you have to type in New York and not Los Angeles or anything like that. Then state and the date of last arrival. When did you arrive to the airport? You can also find it on your I-94 form or in your passport on the stamp that was given to on the entry. Then you have to state when you arrived into the United States, you had to be inspected at the point of entry, and your medical form and the envelope that was given to you had to be taken. So you have to type in that you were inspected at the port of entry and that you have a fiance visa. Moving to the next question. If you were issued Form 94 Arrival Departure Record, provide the information from your most recent Form I-94 below. The Form I-94 is pretty easy to find. You write your family name, your name, and then the arrival departure record number could be found on your I-94. How you find it, you just Google I I-94. And here you have I-94 official website. And then you go to the get most recent I-94. And there you will have it. And just go through all this and enter your name and the document number, your passport number that you went to the US with, and then you press continue, and then you will have all the information. Was your last arrival the first time you were physically present? If it was your first time in the US, you write yes. If you've been to America before, you write no. So I'm gonna write yes as an example. What is your current immigration status? If it has changed since your arrival, you can just write fiance. I wrote just a fiance visa. But since my PDF doesn't let me write K1, oh, it does. Never mind. So expiration date of current immigration status or type of your duration status. It is in your passport. Look at your visa in your passport. It has the expiration date of your visa. Then, have you ever been issued alien crewman visa? You write no because you probably never were alien crewman. Did you last arrive to join a vessel, say seaman or crewman, or while serving in a capacity? If you didn't serve in the vessels or aircraft, you type no. Then the current address. You write the address that you live and right now. And this here you have to write when you actually came to this address. So basically, when you arrived, is this your current mailing address? Yes. If you have a different mailing address, you type it right here. Person plan. Have you resided at your current address for at least 5 years? No. You just came here. And you write your prior address. So say you lived in Germany, you write your address in Germany. Okay, and if you resided on this address for 5 years, you don't have to write anything else. The outside of the United States address, you just wrote it right here. So here you can just leave it blank. If you have more addresses that you lived at, you can write them in the part 14, additional information. Social security card, if you don't have it, you write here has SSA ever official issued card to you, you write no. And then if you answer yes, provide your social security number. And here I recommend to write yes because you need social security card for everything here. And here you write yes because it's a consent for disclosure. If you want the social security code, that you authorize disclosure for information to get the SSA. So next, the application type or filing category. Are you filing for adjustment status while the Executive Office for Immigration Review, while in removal, exclusion, recession, or deportation? No, no. If you have any petition information, you can write yes and put your petition information here, but most of the time it's no. And you are filing the form as a principal applicant. If you are not applying by yourself, if somebody else is writing in your name, they have to write their name here. You have to write the A number of the principal applicant and date of birth. Then, as a K1 visa holder, you are applying as the K1 non-immigrant person. Others you can just skip. This is employment based, you don't need it either. This is special immigrant, you don't need that. No, no, no. This is all not important to you. Here, you want to stop. If you select a family-based special immigrant diversity visa, immigrant listable basis for your application of status or you're applying for adjustment based on INA section 245I, you write no. If you were not here in the United States before April 30th, wait, here, April 30th, 2001, because this section is basically about the people that were in the United States unlawfully before April 30, 2024, 2001, and they have to apply and pay $1,000 fee to have a green card and be in the United States legally. Well, basically, most people don't have it, so you just write no. Here, are you 25, 21 years of age or older and applying for adjustment based on classification as a child under the provisions of the Child Status Protection Act, CSPA? No. Then Part 3 request exemption. Request for exemption for intended immigrants affidavit of support under Section 213A of the INA. Affidavit of support is something that your fiance had to fill out. It's a sponsorship type of document. If you have no exemption and you have an affidavit of support under Section 213A of the INA, you select 1F. None of exceptions apply to me, and I'm not requesting an exemption. Affidavit of support. If you do require an exception, if you do require the exemption from affidavit of support, you have to choose one of these. I filled out the affidavit of support, so if you applied for the immigrant visa to obtain permanent residence status at a U.S. embassy or U.S. consulate abroad. No. If you did apply for an immigrant visa to obtain permanent residence status, you have to fill out where you did the city, the country, the decision, and all the information about this immigrant visa. Then employment and educational history. You have to provide which universities you studied at, the name of the school, and the occupation, student. And again, if you worked somewhere, you have to write employer. You have to write what was the name of your employer and then what was your employment. And if you were unemployed, you have to write unemployed. And here you write none. Additional information about you. You have to write address of employer, company, or school. You probably did it on your previous immigration form that you filled out before your interview in your home country. So here you fill out everything about your school and everything about your education or your work from what time to what time. If you don't remember exact dates, you can write approximate dates. That's fine too. And if you were unemployed, you have to provide the source of your financial support. Then your school outside of the United States, if not already states, if not already listed above. Well, we are all from outside the United States if we are on K1 visas, so we don't need to fill this one out. Okay. Next, information about your parents. You write your parents' names. Um, uh, Parents' first name at birth is basically if your mother had a maiden name, you have to write your mom's maiden name here, and you have to write the country of birth for both parents. So these sections are both devoted to your parents' information. If you don't know one of your parents or both, you just leave it blank and write unknown. Your marital history. If you never married, you write. You have to send the form I-485 after your marriage to the US American citizen. So here you will probably write married. And if you marry your spouse, a current member of the US Armed Forces or US Coastal Guard, well, you should ask it. Uh, your US spouse. How many times you've been married, including your current marriage. If it's your first marriage, you write one time. If not, you write total times you've been married with the including the marriage you have right now. So current spouse legal name. This is your husband's or wife's name. If they are U.S. citizens, they don't have the A number. They have a date of birth, country. You write all that information about your spouse. And then you write where you got married. For example, I don't know, let's say New York again. And the date of your marriage. And is your current spouse applying to you? Your spouse is American, so he is not applying. He or she is not applying with you. Prior marriages. This is about your prior marriages, your prior legal spouses' names. You write them here. All the information about your prior spouses, you have to write them here. If it's your first time marriage, you don't have to fill out this part. And you have to also write how your marriage ended with the prior spouse. Your children. If you have children, then term children includes all biological or legally adopted children, as well as current stepchildren of any age, whether born in the United States or other countries, married or unmarried, living with you or elsewhere, and includes any missing children and those born to you outside of marriage. Okay, so if you have more than 2 children, space provided in part 14. So you have to write about your children that you have. If you move with them, they will probably be assigned the A number 2 because they will be your, if they will have the K2 visas. And here you have to write if it's your biological child, stepchild, or legally adopted child. And you can write if the child is applying now on a separate form I-485. Then biographic information. If you're Hispanic or non-Hispanic, you have to write it here. let's say you're not Hispanic, the race would be white. Then you have to write your height, weight, then general eligibility and admissibility grounds. This is the part where you have to answer truthfully to all the security questions and yeah, have you been a member of involved in or in any way associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or any other location in the world? If you have to write yes and write the organizations you've been involved in. Then, have you been denied admission or visa to the United States? Have you worked without authorization in the US? And all the security questions. You guys have to answer them yourself. But right here, for example, genome immigrant exchange visitor, that means a student in the US. And if you write yes here, you have to comply with the foreign residence requirement. And if you answered yes, you have to provide additional documents with the certified translations. It could be school certificates, leases of your houses outside the US, the work contracts, and everything like those. And if you answered here yes and here no, you have to answer the question 21 that you if you've been granted a waiver or Department of State issued a favorable waiver recommendation letter to you. The criminal acts and violations, here you also have to answer truthfully to all the questions about your criminal past, criminal records. So I will skip the security questions and you can read them yourself. And this is like 3 pages of security questions. And after you're done, we come to the part 9. If you have been publicly charged. No, this is the next part. What's the size of the household? If it's just you and your spouse, you write 2. If it's more, if it's your kids and everything, you write more. Then you have to indicate annual household income. Oh, here you have to write if you do not fall under any exempt categories. You have to write I do not fall under any exempt categories listed above, and will complete item numbers 5766. If you do not fall under any of this general eligibility and admissibility grounds public charge section of this instructions, you you cross this that you do not fall under any exempt categories, and you can proceed to number 57. The number of the household here indicate your annual household income. You have to indicate your annual household income. Your US spouse probably knows that. The total value of household assets, it means like approximately how much everything in your household, like everything you have, how much it costs. You have to approximately put it here. And liabilities means credits that you have, money that you owe, everything. And then, have you ever received supplemental security income, SSI, temporary assistance for needy families? If you have not, you just write no. Then, if you received those benefits, you write when, what benefit you received, from which date to which date, and the dollar amount of the benefits. And you have to also list if a category exempt from public charge. So I have to write the institution name, the dates, and the reason why you got, why you were institutionalized. So then next, security questions about illegal entries. You answer them truthfully. Removal, unlawful presence, or illegal re-entry. Answer those questions truthfully about your history, if you have history of the illegal entrances. General eligibility and admissibility grounds. You have to write if you were unlawfully present in the US since April 1, 1997, and all the similar questions. Then these are the questions about your intentions in the United States and your history again. So you have to answer those truthfully too. And then you are at the end of the application, you write the date and telephone number and the email address if you have it. If you have just one phone number, just write it in number 1 and number 2. You just can copy them, or just only one part, and your email address. This email address should be your go-to email address for the USCIS, as they will contact you through it. Then you have to print out the whole application, and when you print it out, you have to do your signature in the black ink on the on the paper. It has to be handwritten, and the date of signature, I would recommend it to be handwritten too. If you use the interpreter to help you to fill out the form, you have to write your interpreter's data here information. After you filled out part 10 and possibly part 11, you go to part 12 and you write your full name and contact information. Part 12, if you did not fill out the form I-485 and it was filled out by anybody other than you, this person has to write in their name and their number. Part 13 is left unfilled because you will fill it out at the end of your interview, if you will have an interview. If the interview will be waived, and you will be lucky, you don't have to fill out, but for right now you leave it blank and you do not fill it without the USCIS officer. Part 14 is additional information from the previous parts. That's about it for the Form I-485. Additionally, you will have to send the paycheck, and you will have to fill out. I made the cover letter that I used because you will have to send quite a few documents with your I-485. But I will talk about this later. But this is the cover letter that I used. Now I'll link it in the description. You can use it and change it how you like. The USCIS logbooks is something that you have to pay attention to because different states have different logbox addresses. You go through this link and then you find the state that you live in right now, and you find the US postal address for this. For your state, you find the USCIS logbooks address, and you write it on the envelope, and that's how you send it. That's it.